Be sure to check out WatchMojo's new series, The Worst Travel Show. Click the link below to see all the episodes and follow the show on Facebook.
It's been on the air for over 2 decades, so there's bound to be a bunch of more phenomenal missteps every now and then.
Whoa, this guy definitely has the wrong idea about us.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Power Rangers fails. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be reviewing some of the most embarrassing, facepalm-worthy, and just plain dumb decisions made by the Power Rangers, either on the show itself or behind the scenes.
Did somebody mention the Power Rangers?
Number 10, the Green Ranger's Shield, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Zach, here, take my shield. The powers in it will heal you and give you energy.
When watching a mashup of footage from Power Rangers and Super Sentai, fans can usually overlook the differences, unless it's a glaring prop error. While most of the props and costumes were shipped directly from Japan for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, American prop makers were left to make a substitute shield out of thin cloth. This not only makes it painfully obvious which scenes were American filmed, but the shield in the US version also looks like it can barely protect Tommy at all. Later, they mercifully remade the shield with proper material for the Green Ranger's return in Dino Thunder. However, they also altered his helmet by adding a silver stripe, so they fixed one aesthetic issue, but they created another.
It's been a while, Tommy. See you switch to basic black.
Number 9, the abrupt shift from Zeo to Turbo, Power Rangers Zeo and Power Rangers Turbo.
We quit, sir. We got a better offer.
I needn't remind you of our luck in getting rehired.
Moving from one season to another can feel like a natural progression if it's done right. Unfortunately, that was not the case for the Zeo Turbo transition. The gap between the finale of Zeo and the Turbo movie brought with it unexpected visual changes, continuity errors, and unfulfilled promises with the finale.
We're back! The Power Rangers? If I knew that, do you think I'd be lying here listening to this?
Perhaps the biggest question left unanswered was, why was it necessary to trade in the Zeo powers for the Turbo ones? There were rumors about a cereal called Scorpion Rain, which supposedly would have answered some of those questions, but it was debunked as a hoax. Sadly, this sudden move was not the last hasty change made in Turbo.
Before you are your new Turbo Morphers.
Number 8, Jennifer L. Yen as Vypra, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
Well, if it isn't the Power Rangers.
Arguably the weakest links in Lightspeed Rescue were the villains. But while most of them could at least act, there was one notable exception, Vypra.
Just what I thought. In my Vypari, I'm invincible.
Sure, actress Jennifer L. Yen definitely looked the part. However, her skills as a thespian were another story. In nearly all of her scenes, her inflection is kind of all over the place, and she delivers her lines with very unconvincing enthusiasm.
I'll destroy Mariner Bay myself!
In fact, the only time when it looked like she could actually act was when her character was being killed off. Even when she returned as a zombie, her performance was deader than she was. This wasn't the last character that fans felt was miscast, but it did prove the consequences of playing a part without any real passion.
I'm Vypra, princess of all demons.
Number 7, the Peace Conference Incident, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Out of thousands of entrants, 3 names were announced today as the lucky students invited to attend the World Peace Summit in Switzerland.
Jason, Zach, and Trini were originally slated to appear in the 1995 movie. However, with the show's rising popularity, their actors hoped that the show's producer, Haim Saban, would unionize the show, as they were being ridiculously underpaid at the time.
It was for 3 movies, all non-union, with very little pay, and another 40 episodes. And it was at that point, me and some of the other cast members got together and said, we should at least speak to a lawyer.
Haim Saban didn't concede, so the 3 walked off set halfway through filming the season. And their departures did not go unnoticed. They rarely appeared unmorphed outside of stock footage or body doubles, and stand-in actors provided their morphed voiceovers. Or tried anyway.
Zordon, we can't go to the peace conference. Not now.
There has to be another way.
Eventually, the 3 Rangers were shipped off to a peace conference and replaced by Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. And while Zach and Trini never returned, Jason did make a few unexpected comebacks in Zeo and Wild Force's Red Rangers team-up.
I mean, we did a lot of good at the peace conferences, but I gotta be honest with you. I'm just beginning to miss this place.
Number 6, Kalishplosions, Power Rangers Disney seasons.
Referring to the 6-story high fireballs like that one, right there.
Did you ever notice that, starting with Power Rangers SPD, the explosions in the show suddenly started becoming gigantic and less practical? They'd erupt way behind their targets, sending them into the air kind of unrealistically, and then the shot would just repeat again but zoomed in. This is a case of Kalishplosion, a process named after the then executive producer, Bruce Kalish. What's worse is that this increase in over-the-top explosions coincided with the reduction in the number of unique martial arts fight sequences the series was known for, likely to tone down the violence. But in doing so, the fight scenes became incredibly repetitive, to the point where they were just like a mangled mess of laser blasts flying everywhere and hitting nothing. Number 5, Justin as the Blue Ranger, Power Rangers Turbo.
Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger. Isn't that cool or what?
A preteen fighting alongside the teens with attitude? Not exactly a perfect match. At the time, Power Rangers was losing at the ratings game, so the studio thought that it'd be a good idea to bring in a younger Ranger to appeal to a newer audience.
I can't believe I'm gonna be in high school. I'm not even tall enough to reach the lockers.
Enter Justin, a preteen genius taking on the mantle of the Blue Ranger after veteran Rocky injures his back. Justin himself actually made a decent Ranger, taking to action the minute trouble arose. However, someone his age seemed completely out of place with the rest of the Rangers, and his central episodes tended to feel silly and pandered to younger audiences. Needless to say, this audience-grabbing experiment was kind of a washout.
What's the matter? Afraid that you're gonna get beat by a little shrimpo?
Number 4, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive.
Go Rangers, go Rangers, go, go, go! Go Rangers, go Rangers, go, go, go!
If you can get past the abysmal theme song, there's no turning back. Originally, the plan for Operation Overdrive was for a grandiose and adventurous season, similar to the Super Sentai counterpart, Bokenger. Unfortunately, the low budget caused a lot of cut corners that affected almost every aspect of the show. The season's pacing was way off the wall. The potential for the multiple villain factions was completely wasted, and many of the main characters were incredibly unlikable.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
You were saying?
Not even a crossover with fan-favorite past Rangers could redeem the season, as the special made the legendary heroes look incompetent compared to this unlikable team. Seriously, go watch those episodes again. The Retro Rangers don't even kill a single monster.
Incredible! Way to go, Mac! Yeah!
Yeah! Awesome!
If you like this video, then you probably won't hate WatchMojo's newest show, The Worst Travel Show, hosted by me, Kyle Gatehouse. Click this link below to watch it on Facebook.
I can't wait to be famous.
Number 3, the 20th anniversary season, or seasons. Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce.
Everyone! Yeah! There's a time bomb into the train tracks! Yeah! The train's almost here!
I am on my way.
Considering it was the 20th anniversary season, Megaforce ultimately failed to celebrate that occasion. To start, they split the season in half so that by the time the actual anniversary content came into play, it was a year too late. As for the actual series, fans are quick to point out that our heroes lacked any depth or backstory, and their acting was extremely bland, with Troy, the Red Ranger, easily being the worst of the bunch.
Moon Knight! You have a mission to fulfill!
They may have had a much better season planned, but executive meddling thwarted those plans, leaving fans with 2 seasons filled with shallow and out-of-touch fan service rather than, telling an actual story.
Rangers, you've now unlocked new modes that have never been seen before on this planet.
Number 2, Driving David Yost Away, Power Rangers Zeo.
So if I cry, I apologize in advance.
Billy is one of the most iconic Blue Rangers, and the longest-lasting member of the original 5, eventually stepping down and becoming a technician in Zeo. But near the end of the season, he departed the show a few seasons after the actor who played him, David Yost, resigned. There were rumors about a pay dispute, but the real reason was actually much worse.
And the reason that I walked off is because I was called faggot one too many times.
Yost has since claimed that he was regularly harassed by several crew members about his sexuality, with some even deeming him unworthy of being a superhero, and began the journey through which he'd ultimately accept himself and not listen to those assholes on set.
I was worried that I might take my own life. So in order for me to get a handle on what was going on, I needed to leave when I left.
Before we unveil our number 1 fail, here are a few embarrassing dishonorable mentions.
Chose 5 teenagers to become Power Rangers and defend the world.
To answer your question, I can't demorph, because I don't know if I can breathe the air here. In my dimension, we've been forced to live in a dome city, just to avoid the toxic atmosphere the robots have created.
What are those things? I can't believe it, but I think they're...
It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
Number 1, the legendary battle, Power Rangers Super Megaforce.
You don't have to do it alone this time. We're here to fight by your side.
Since the beginning of Megaforce, Power Rangers had been foreshadowing a legendary event for the finale, an epic battle featuring every Ranger from the previous past 2 decades. For the next 2 years, fans endured lackluster writing, bland characters, and dissatisfying tribute episodes with only 2 veteran appearances. Finally, the battle arrived, and boy was it a letdown. A handful of veteran Ranger actors actually accepted the last-minute invites, and only a fraction of them had any dialogue at all. Sadly, the battle itself was just as disappointing, with a heavy reliance on stock footage, the Megaforce Rangers' annoying commentary, and aggravating plot holes.
Hello, old friend! Glad to be back.
To sum it up, it was a final battle that was hyped for 2 years, but barely lasted 2 minutes. Talk about a super mega fail.
Well, it's time for us to leave. We'll always be with you.
Hey, this is Kyle Gatehouse, host of WatchMojo's new series, The Worst Travel Show. Click the link below to watch it on Facebook. For more great videos published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.